As the harsh winter night settled in, Elias found himself abruptly roused from his slumber by the diligent guards. Their urgent announcement filled him with an air of concern and intrigue. His eyes flicked open, and a mixture of curiosity and wariness washed over him. The thought of an unexpected presence loitering outside the hideout house in the biting cold stirred a flicker of unease. However, when he caught a glimpse of the lone figure under the flickering streetlight, a wave of curiosity tempered his initial alarm. The sight of a woman, shrouded in the chilling embrace of the winter night, piqued his curiosity as well as his suspicion. He silently weighed the possibility of this unforeseen visitor being a spy, his mind already working diligently to assess the situation. With a quiet intensity, he rose from his bed, his movements fluid but measured, and crept closer to the window for a clearer view of the woman. The dim illumination cast by the flickering streetlight painted shadows across the woman's figure, adding an air of mystery to her presence. As he observed her, Elias's mind raced with questions and possibilities. Was she truly an innocent bystander, or was there more to her than met the eye? His eyes narrowed, his gaze sharp and observant, as he silently studied her every movement and gesture. The cold winter night seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the next course of action. Elias exhaled sharply through his nose, already calculating the best approach. He pulled on his sleek black winter jacket, the thick material swallowing the cold before it could bite his skin. With practiced ease, he slid a small, concealed blade into his inner pocket, just in case, before heading downstairs. The guards stiffened as he passed, but he raised a hand, signaling them back inside with a dismissive flick of his fingers. "Stay alert but out of sight. I'll handle this." Stepping into the frigid night air, his breath curled in the dim glow of the streetlight. He softened his posture, letting his shoulders slump slightly. Just another man concerned about a stranger out in the cold. "Hey," he called, voice laced with deliberate warmth. "You alright? It's freezing out here." His eyes, however, remained sharp, studying her reaction, her hands, any flicker of recognition or deception. He was good at this, playing the role, waiting to see if she'd slip. He approached her cautiously, his footsteps silent against the frosty ground. As he stood a few paces away, he couldn't help but murmur, "Lost doll?" The words were almost lost in the cold, biting air, but he knew she'd heard him. His eyes scanned her face, the way she stood, any signs that might give her away. The streetlight cast eerie shadows across her features, making the moment feel strangely surreal. He waited, ready for her response, his hand still tucked casually in his jacket pocket. Elias tilted his head slightly, studying the way you hesitated, the way your shoulders tensed when you turned away. His instincts prickled, too skittish, too deliberate, but he kept his voice light, disarming. "You sure?" He took a careful step closer, keeping just enough distance to seem non-threatening. "Not many people wander around this neighborhood at night, especially not in weather like this." His gloved fingers flexed inside his pockets, casual, but ready. The wind howled between you both, carrying his words like an unspoken challenge. "Who are you really out here for?" "The night bus?" Elias repeated silently to himself, his mind spinning. This part of the city wasn't exactly known for reliable public transport, let alone at this hour. He raised an eyebrow, keeping his face a mask of concerned politeness. "I'm not sure that route runs here anymore," he said, his words careful, but still casual. "You might be waiting a while." His eyes searched her face, waiting to catch a glimpse of doubt, frustration, something that would hint at her true intentions. Elias couldn't help but be amused by her defiant stubbornness. "Nosy?" "Just concerned," he said, his lips tugging into a half-smile. "You're out here alone, in the cold, waiting for a bus that may not even show up." His eyes flicked around the deserted street, taking in the way the shadows seemed to close in around them. And considering how dangerous it can be, it's not exactly smart, sweetheart. He feigned a hurt look, placing a hand over his heart. Me? Elias tilted his head. You think I look like the kind of guy who'd rob a little thing like you? The corners of his lips curled into a smirk, and he took a casual step closer. No, sweetheart. I'm the type to keep you safe. Elias chuckled softly, the sound low and rough. Smart girl, he murmured, his gaze flickering to the hand inside your coat pocket, presumably holding the pepper spray. He raised his hands in surrender, his palms open, to show he meant no harm. Relax, sweet thing. I don't make a habit of attacking random women. He paused, studying the way you held yourself, the tension in your shoulders, the flicker of suspicion in your eyes. He couldn't quite place it, but something about you held his attention. He tilted his head, eyes narrowing slightly. Work, huh? Elias mused, the word hanging in the air like an unspoken dare. He feigned surprise, his gaze roaming up and down your frame, almost taking in every detail. At this hour, in this weather, you don't seem like the type for the night shift. Despite the casual tone, his eyes were sharp, searching for hints of deception, or even a little slip. He wasn't buying the innocent act, but he wanted to see how far you'd take it. Elias's eyes widened ever so slightly. A nurse, he echoed, a hint of interest sparking in his mind. A nurse working nights, out here alone, waiting for a bus that may not even turn up. His voice was almost taunting now, his eyes searching yours for the smallest crack in the facade. He was curious, no, intrigued by you. This wasn't just a coincidence, and he wanted to know why. Elias's smirk deepened. There it was, a slip, a tell. He folded his arms, leaning his weight onto one leg. Funny, he mused, voice smooth as silk. Because I've never seen you before. And trust me, sweetheart. His gaze flicked pointedly toward his house, grand, imposing, impossible to miss. I'd remember. A pause. The wind howled between you. So, he murmured, stepping closer, his breath curling in the frozen air. Who are you really waiting for? His gaze narrowed. There it was again, that stubborn defiance. He was starting to enjoy it, the way you refused to back down, the fire in your eyes. Elias raised a skeptical eyebrow, his voice dry. Right, down the street. The way he said it showed just how much he believed that. He was close enough now that he could almost reach you if he wanted to. The streetlight overhead threw shadows across your face, highlighting your every feature. His eyes lingered on your lips for a moment, but his gaze quickly returned to your guarded expression. He watched you for a moment longer, a mix of annoyance and interest flickering behind his eyes. Then, with a casual flip of his wrist, he pulled out a pack of cigarettes from his jacket pocket. Elias placed one between his lips, the motion easy and practiced. He took his time lighting it, the flame from the lighter dancing momentarily against his face. The acrid scent of smoke curled around you both in the cold air. He took a slow drag, the end flaring a bright cherry red before he exhaled. His eyes stayed on you, watchful. He chuckled, his voice a low rumble as he took another drag from the cigarette. What, I can't smoke on the sidewalk anymore. Elias raised an eyebrow, leaning against a nearby lampstand, the picture of nonchalance. But the glint in his eyes said otherwise. He was enjoying this little verbal sparring. He was intrigued, yes, but also irritated at your resistance. He exhaled a stream of smoke, his gaze never leaving yours. I'll leave when I'm damn ready, sweetheart. Elias didn't move at first, just watched you go with another slow drag from his cigarette. Then, wrong way, his voice carried after you smooth as whiskey. Bus stops the other direction. A pause. Unless, of course, you're not really waiting for a bus. The unspoken challenge lingered in the cold air between you, daring you to prove him wrong. But he still didn't follow. Yet. His gaze raked over you, taking in your bristly attitude and defiant expression. You had spit, no doubt about that. Elias smirked, the corners of his lips curling with barely contained amusement. Bandit? He mused, flicking the cigarette away. Nah, sweet thing. That's too ordinary. He pushed off the streetlight and stalked closer, his stride easy and confident. His gaze roved over you, his eyes narrowing slightly as if sizing you up. I was thinking more spy. And you're a lousy liar. He chuckled, the sound low and gravelly. He was close enough now that he could almost reach out and touch you, but he kept his hands in his pockets. Elias cocked his head, studying your face. You're hiding something, doll. That much is clear. His gaze was sharp and calculating, like a fox contemplating whether to play with its prey or just go for the kill. But what? He mused aloud. That I'm eager to find out. Elias couldn't help but grin, wide and wolfish. You say that, he mused, stepping forward in one smooth stride to block your path, but you're still here. His smile sharpened, which makes me wonder, do you want me to keep you? His gaze flicked to the direction you'd tried to walk, toward the dead-end alley, or are you just really bad at directions? Either way, he wasn't letting you leave. Not yet. Go ahead, he chuckled, the sound low and mocking. Elias took a slow step closer, invading your personal space. His gaze darkened, the amusement in his eyes shifting to something sharper, predatory even. Scream as loud as you like. His hand twitched inside his jacket, a subtle movement that spoke volumes. Nobody will hear you. Before you could even blink, Elias moved like lightning. His gloved hand clamping over your mouth with a damp chemical-scented cloth. Shh! His voice was chillingly soft, right against your ear as you struggled. That's the thing, sweetheart. Your vision blurred instantly. The streetlights swam above you, the shadows of passers-by. Were they even real? Twisting into nothingness. His grip was iron, steadying you as your knees buckled. There's no one. Darkness swallowed you whole. Elias scooped you up effortlessly, his arms cradling your limp form against his chest as he strode back toward the looming silhouette of his hideout. With deliberate slowness, he reached into the inner pocket of your coat, retrieving the tiny wire hidden beneath the fabric. His grin was all teeth as he held it up to his lips, thumb pressing the transmitter. If you want your girl back, come and get her.